Well, guys, this is good once again because for the last 3 years I've been doing tips, and for you guys that haven't been here before, one of the best tips I can give you is come to the meetings. After all, that's where you learn a lot of stuff. And the first thing I like to do with the tips is, or first thing I do when I get a magazine, I don't know about you guys, but I always look for the tips. That's one thing I always like to do, and then tear them out or write them down to the tips that I like. And one of the tips is also, we have a lot of DVDs, magazines, and books that you can take out. And another good thing is, for example, you come here to the meetings, you make friends and get to rub elbows with somebody. Bob, he's helped me to make pens. I've never made them before. And Ken, where's Ken at? He's there somewhere, okay. we made fast friends. You've been in turning for just a few years or a few months or so, and he came to my shop and we redid a box elder. That I know you learned a lot, and you learned that one thing to make a project, sometimes you got to have persistence, you got to have patience, yes, and a lot of practice, and you'll get it naturally, Yeah, let's start off here with a couple of these things, and I'll call some of you guys that did give me some tips, and if anybody else bring any tips that they didn't tell me about. Okay, but if you, oh shoot, I gotta take that back. Sometimes with tips, it's where can you find your wood and stuff. So one of the things I did is I worked at the Mercersburg Academy before I retired, and there was this here door there, and they wanted to throw it out. So I took it home and I cut it down, and you see all these laminates there. So I thought, that looks good, especially when I sold it, it looked kind of pretty. Right there at the edge, it doesn't look so pretty. So I thought, well, let's just try. So I made this compact mirror. So, just different things like that. You got to take into consideration if you can get wood anywhere, because after all, it does grow on trees. And if you're friends with Rod, you can even get some wood. Right, Bob? Okay. Now, a lot of you guys might know this, but green wood. I was always told for green wood, like if you're making a bolt, put liquid wax on it. Jim, you put hot wax on yours, ends. I shouldn't say bowls, but ends. And somebody was saying you can also use, I haven't used that, but latex paint. And I'm thinking, man, once my wax goes, I'm going to latex paint, because after all, that's pretty cheap.
So old glue works too.
Yeah, that was Larry. You said about that before, yeah. Old glue.
Oh, you can use new glue too, but
now,
you've got glue that's
old.
Like I've got a couple gallons, it's probably 10 years old. Just
really?
Thin it with water and brush it on.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. Too bad Bill and Barb Forney aren't here, because last year at this time when I went ahead and we were talking about steel wool. If you guys got questions, ask, and there's some of us do know some answers. But anyway, what we were talking about is steel wool, and what they brought, or what they told me, was that abrasive non-woven scuffing pads. I don't know if you guys use that instead of, a lot of you guys are shaking your head yes. And what Bill did is he actually sent me the next week, he sent me, because I never used that, he sent me a pad. And since then I've bought, and I really like that, because there's double aught, or 4-aught, there's very fine, extra fine, fine, I guess there's medium and stuff in that. But that's one thing I really liked. I really like that. And
there's a couple of reasons for that. One is,
yes.
Regular steel wool has oil in it, at least at the deposit, and so that's helpful for not to use the other. And also, when you're using the scuff pads, it doesn't leave behind any shards of metal in the.
Yeah, and that's very. I know I blow mine off, but it could stay on there and all. But yeah, I love that stuff. Man, that I've been using that a lot.
I use that to line my jam chucks, and if your piece of work actually has
Yeah.
to slip,
That's a good idea.
Just smooths it up at the same time.
Jim, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's great. Yep. And also, before I turn it over to some other people, is for Bill Fordney. He come up with chuck jaw protectors. You know, put it in a piece. I really like that idea. I don't know if you guys have done that and all, but you know, put it on your jaws and all. There's times whenever this saved my butt actually with problems.
That one is cut to go around, but if you have the kind that go up, and you buy the larger tubing,
Yeah.
you can squeeze it and it'll fit down over it and no cuts. You just cut it off the length.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah.
Because that's what I did.
That's good. Yeah. Great. Now, Jim, he come up with a couple of tips. One thing, Jim, is you said something about, you gave us, there you go. Whatever that is, I'm not sure. 1/8 to 1/16. Oh, cracks.
Oh. Yeah. I found, at least I believe, that most cracks that you have in your turnings are because there was a crack there before you started turning. And in fact, if you don't believe that, look at how many bowls you'll see that only one end of them has super glue or epoxy, the other one's good. So I always just take about 1/8 of an inch off the end of the piece of wood I'm going to turn, and make sure there's no cracks in it before I start turning it.
Yep. And Jim, you also said, I have a little marked here, something about, we were at the last officers meeting, a board meeting there, and it said earplugs for pens. Does that say you don't stick your pen in your ear? What's the earplugs for?
Tricky, but, if you ever had trouble getting epoxy or glue into your tubes, or some of the bigger tubes, I'll just take one of those foam earplugs and cut it and put it in. They make special stuff for it, but I've got plenty of the foam earplugs. You just roll it in there and put it in, and it keeps the glue out.
How many pen makers we have? Only. Hands going up very slowly. I've only made 13 pens. I plan on making a little more. But anyway, I like to finish mine. There's different finishes I know. I always like to use super glue. Freud, what do you use? CA. Okay. And what I was thinking is you're going to go ahead and get that CA glue on bushings and spacers and all. So I just, I made one of these plastic little dingy things here that you can put on your mandrel on each side, and then of course your wood's in here, and you can go along and put your glue on, CA glue on, and that way it won't get on your bushings and all. I don't know how good or bad that idea is, but it really works well for me. And Bob came up with an idea because I just did one, one blank. But he says if you taper both sides, then you can go ahead and put 2 of them on there, right? So he came up with that idea. If you want to just pass this around, Bob.
If you get it on your bushings, I just take a jar, pour acetone in it, and I put all that stuff in there and let it sit and take it out, and it's all gone.
But there you don't have to worry about that. That CA glue won't stick to that.
So where do you get this?
That's a good. Go ahead, Jim. What is that called even? Putting you on the spot.
High molecular weight.
I know what it is. Where do you buy it?
Metals.com.
Metals.com. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm afraid.
Other places you could buy it too, but that's
There's
what I
U.S.
did.
Plastics in Ohio. I bought, like for the sides of my table saw fence, I bought some, but I was looking for the round stuff, and I go there. So it's on the other side of Ohio. That's near where my sister lives. So.
Well, Fred, you had some of that stuff too, didn't you? On your table saw and all?
There's a lot of places.
That plastic along your fence or something, didn't you or not? No, you got a piece of wood there.
No, I had a piece of wood there.
You got a piece of wood, that's right.
I did.
Jim did, that's right. Yeah, and you made your bushings or no bearings for your bandsaw.
bearings for the bandsaw.
Yeah.
And,
I've
Yeah.
done a similar thing, but just out of plastic cutting board.
There you go.
Yes.
You know what? That's what that was from. Something like that. It was at work one time, just a chunk of it there.
They aren't as thick, but what I did was to just cut two,
Mm-hmm.
put two of them together, and
Joe,
Yeah.
MSC, which is an industrial supply company, has a considerable number of materials that you can get in small quantities. They're,
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they
Thank you.
still have that they still have a catalog. Used to be their big blue book was about that thick.
Yeah, they still print it.
Do they still print it?
you
And
say
then they
MS.
send you, yeah, then they send you a little flyer like once every 2 weeks or something.
You say MSC.
MSC. Corporation. Reserve.
One of the good things is taking notes, like Murray's doing. Anyway, we're talking about the CA glue with the ink pen. I'll go ahead and you take a paper towel, put super glue on it, and then it gets in your fingers, or it burns through rubber, and all this. So I was thinking of get ahead and getting a little. This is a sewing. What do you call this? A sewing finger or something like that.
They
Needle
also
fit.
use
That's
it
it.
for wood carving.
And yeah, you could do that, I guess. Yeah.
No, I just watched.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, that works great. Put a paper towel on there, and I did all those pens with that and didn't get burnt once. Bonnie, I know you do a little kind of leather sewing. Do you have something like this? And okay, I've just
Yeah, I can bring a box full of it. For everybody to take.
okay. Good tip there. Make friends with the young lady. She's going to bring a lot of leather, right? Okay.
Jim, my wife uses them to quilt. Cushion needles.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
It's a quilter, yeah, it's a quilter's cover, or a quilter's cover.
Ah. All
You
right.
buy it at Joanne Fabric.
Yeah, well, I bought this a little small for my finger, so I broke it a little bit so I could get my finger in there. It worked well, I will tell you that. It worked really well. Okay, Bob, I know you've been wanting to. I got a big one for Bob here. This is kind of a complicated thing. Maybe I better say it. And I'm talking about if you get chips in your pocket. Bob brought this tip up. If you're turning, you got a pocket, and then you go inside, and your wife is wondering why you have all this chips of wood in your pocket, and how he come up. I don't know if you come up with the idea that somebody told him to go ahead and just put some masking tape over here, and voila, the wife is happy.
Gonna have a dryer full of chips.
A dryer. Okay, that's what it is. Do you want the ball and this too,
I don't
or?
know what the black thing is.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
Fine. That's Jim.
Oh, that's just.
When I'm turning beer mugs or wine glasses, when I get ready to, I've drilled the hole, I've rounded out the cup, the tennis ball goes in the end of the cup, the tailstock comes up to it, the spinning tailstock, and it holds it perfectly well without doing any damage. And you don't have to put a lot of pressure on it, so you don't have any fear of breaking the sides of the wine glass up. And it really works well.
I tell you what. Also, if you've been to my shop, what I do with one of these is the edge of my table saw is you hit it once in a while and it kind of hurts. I just split this open and put it at the edge of that, and well, you can see it easy, and if you bump it, it doesn't hurt as much. You want this? I really wanted it. All right.
Those protruding, like fence rails and things, is that foam that's used for insulating pipe.
Right.
So just cut a piece of that off and zip tie it on the end.
Also, there's swimming, there's
Yeah, it's
noodles.
Yeah, it's noodles.
Oh.
They work well, too.
Those work really well.
Yeah, we use the noodles on the trail when you push the slide out, on the trailer out. My height was about eyeball level. I only hit it twice before I realized that the noodle would work.
It's using the old noodle, isn't it?
That's into, yeah.
Thank you. One of the tips I have is, I don't know how you guys use your bowl gouges to sharpen them, but I have a block of wood that I put my bowl gouge in, and then you set your vary grind. And I know that, Larry, you put yours along a table or something like that. Your depth. Yeah. But then you have yours set. But, you know, we all don't have a bunch of stuff that we can just leave our stuff set like that. But anyway, so I took a wooden block, and I forget what it was, 1 3/4 or something. I forget what the setting is. But the problem is my settings were different after a good while. I kept propping it in there. Well, it was chewing out the wood. I wasn't smart enough to know that it kept going into the wood. I mean, you know, it's still sharp. So I put a little penny in there, and that stopped that. You know, it hits the penny. It won't mess up the bowl gouge or anything. Cold chuck extensions. You know, your rubber holders. I don't know if you guys put your bowls on them or anything like that, but sometimes your bowls aren't. You know, they're kind of rounded, or they have more of a lip on them, and also maybe a vase or something like that. So I just made extensions. I bought bolts, they're metric, and I put this here rubber tubing in there. And that's 1.5 inches, or that's an 1.5 inches, and that's 1.5 inches, and that's 1 inch, even though it's a 2-inch bolt, but they work quite well and protects your bowl and all. I went ahead and I got 3/16 hoses for that. Oh, John Huff. Hi, John.
First tip is, remember to bring a tip with you.
Yes.
You come to a meeting on tips.
Yeah.
And then the second one was, if you're trying to sharpen a chisel, and a lot of times you put up the grinder and it's not square, or you're checking it against a square, the easy thing to do is just hit it with a Sharpie or a felt tip pen, and then you can mark it with a scribe across the end. It doesn't take you, it doesn't scratch the middle or anything, but it gives you a clear line of reference to make sure you get a square end on the chisel. And also, it works really well for doing profiles. If you're doing repeating like a molding on the edge of a platter or something, you can use an old file, grind it off, and then smooth it off, and then mark it with a felt tip, and then put your profile in there. You can grind it a lot easier than trying to eyeball it or something like that.
Yeah, I actually do that quite often. Yeah. Yep. And one thing I really like this tip here. Jim last month had those stop buttons for the lathe and all. I really like that, and I put one on mine's just a stop button, a push red button, pull it, it starts, and I I wired it in a metal box, and then I went ahead and screwed a magnet on there, a strong magnet, and I can go anywhere you want on the lathe with the magnet, and you're right there then if you need to stop it quick or actually start it to see if that thing is out around, that you could stop it very quick. I really like that idea. Yep, and I know Jim put some considerable time in doing that setup. How about it, Bob? He did. Yep.
I put mine at knee level.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes my hands are busy.
Oh man, I'd have to lift my knee up pretty good there. But
I usually have it down on the leg.
Hip. Okay. You know what you got to think of. If something goes wrong, hip, no, knee. What you know? I'm so used to using my hand, but yes, that'd probably be good.
When I was
Good idea.
testing DeWalt's table saw before they came on the market, they had their switches underneath the lip of the table and you couldn't reach it. So when I was talking to engineers, I said, I suggest you put it down so you can kick it with your knee. So if you look at DeWalt table saws, it is down low now, and it's a big plate, bigger than that red one. So if you get in trouble, you can just reach down with your knee, or reach with your knee and kick it off. And
Yeah.
it's a big safety feature. Really.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, definitely. Okay, I told you, or maybe I told you, but one of the a big tip too is going to shop tours. I mean, you know, you can really find out a lot of stuff. And Fred back there, which I think we all met Fred, he had a lot of tips at his shop tour. That was a great shop tour, wasn't it? And one of the things I liked, I mean, we all might have done that, is I seen him have I think it's 4 shelves, maybe it's 5, and he had like 6 boxes of these boxes, like ink or pens, and boy, you got all kind of stuff. I'm not even going to name them. I don't have that much time. I think there's 24 of them. I got a picture of it. I counted them. But anyway, that's a neat idea. I don't know if you guys ever thought about it. My wife said, "Hey, I can buy these for what are they? $1 each?"
10 cents or something.
Yeah, something like that. She brought me 10 of them for $10, something like that. Wow. So thank you, Fred. That's a good idea. And then when you want to reach up for one that's too high, you have this. I don't know what it's called. It's for old people, but
It was just a stick that I cut on the bandsaw, so it had a thin edge, and it underneath the lip of the box.
and you just brought it.
You push it up the way that the box comes down, and I can
Control
reach all the way to the roof and get boxes down. That was good.
No, that was great. Yeah, that was good. Man, and another thing that at Fred's place was, explain this, something about you wanted to go ahead and put like you spray lacquer or something like that, and you have a Lazy Susan. That's what I couldn't think of that turntable, but he put it on a Lazy Susan, and you just kind of spin it there and spray. Is that the idea of that? That's pretty good. That's a cool idea. Of course, we could go with his tips all night long, I believe. But and one more. Well, there's a couple more. But anyway, one more about Fred's shop is dust extractor. Is these dust extractor, and you need, what are they called, the stops for the air? Gates. Yeah. And he put cups in there. Just put cups in there.
Plastic paint container.
Oh, is that what that was? Plastic paint?
Like $6 for $2 at Home Depot.
Wow. Yeah, that is neat. That is neat. Yeah. Jim, what's this for?
That is what I use when I put filler in something. It's an artist palette, and it really works nice. It's nice and flexible, and you get pressure. And when I mix up wood filler of some kind, I usually make mine out of sawdust and Tide glue or super glue or something. And it does a real neat job.
Like good burning knives too. Like
Yeah.
black stick.
That's right.
I'm assuming this is a bushing or a collar.
It's a bushing.
Okay.
You want
Yeah, go ahead.
that?
You explain. Yep. Yeah, I could, because I use them, but yeah.
Times when I'm turning and I'm moving the tool rest a lot or adjusting the angle, if you have trouble with this keep falling down, some people have a collar with a set screw. My lathe didn't have one. I just put that bushing there, keeps it whatever height I want, and then I can turn it side to side, move everything, and it keeps the same adjustment. And they're cheap.
Yep. And you know, different sizes for different tools. Yeah, I use mine a good bit. I don't know how many I've got.
There. In that same vein, a 1-inch hose clamp, put it where you want it, tighten it down with the little hex wrench,
Yeah.
stays right there.
Wow. Okay, that's cool too. Yeah.
Also, Jim, Fred told me this years ago. We were at a flea market and bought these household knives. I said, what do you want this for? And we need it for filler. And they're great because they're strong enough to open the can and use them as filler and then put them back in the I've done that for years.
Okay, I might have to borrow my wife's. Would that be all right?
I'll use the strong zone.
Oh, no, don't. Wouldn't it last longer? Jim, go ahead, spanner or wrench.
A lot of us have adapters or chucks or face plates that have the drilled hole to put a bar in and crank on it. Yeah. Well, if you can find a spanner wrench, the right size for that tool, that does a lot less damage to the tool, and it works better too. spanner wrench would have a pin that would go in that hole and a radius that conforms to your outside diameter. I was at Williams Grove the other day, and I saw lots of spanner wrenches, but they didn't have one to fit what I wanted. They might have one to fit your stuff.
And how about once you go on pallet knives?
That's the rotary one around, Joe.
Oh, is that a pallet knife? Is that what that is? Wow, that's all right. Oh, well then you want to say, how about sharpening your, or you did say that too, sharpening your parting tool?
No.
Honest, no you didn't. Go ahead. Sorry.
I've seen people trying to hold their parting tool up against the grinding wheel and keep it level and using it. I just lay mine on my stationary belt sander. Zip, flip it, and you're done. I mean, 5 seconds you can have the tool tarp. Yeah, tool tarp and back at work. Need a second.
And, oh, okay, this is a good one too. I do this. Wrenches to size spindles.
Yeah, I do that a lot, using a wrench to get the size and the spindle for the tenons. And I also use it to get the cement. If I'm making a barrel shape, I'll slip a wrench in from each side and just eyeball how far it goes in to make sure you got a nice even curve. One thing that you got to be careful is if you use it to size stuff, especially in the middle. I've seen a lot of times where people kind of force it on it. It'll crush the wood a little bit, and you will finish your part, and then you'll see it later. So you got to be careful how much pressure you put when you're using a wrench for a gauge.
The rod, you've been using for the cleaner for years. He has a 3/4 inch wrench and a 1/2 inch wrench.
There's 7/8 and 3/4. I know it takes all 16 for the top. So when we get to 7/8, I know I got 2 more cents.
Yeah, for CA glue, a lot of times they go ahead and you get your glue all glued up in the hole there, you know. So I just take I think this is geez, I forget what size it was. But anyway, I just took a drill bit in there and went ahead and, you know, do this. I made a little handle, and that helps, believe me. A lot of times it helps too if you just squeeze it and air pops up through, you know, to clean that tip out. I don't know what size this is, but anyway, that works pretty good. Jim, I think you have one. No, do you? Spindles are not vegetables.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I've talked to a number of our club members about. I do a good bit of spindle turning. I like bowls and everything too, but some of our members, and I'm not going to point fingers at anybody in particular, look at spindles as if they're a vegetable. I get my grandkids out there, you want some broccoli? I don't like broccoli. You ever taste broccoli? No, I never tasted it, but I don't like it. And you'll talk about spindles. Well, I don't like spindles. Why? Well, they're boring. What's the last thing you turned with the spindle? Never. Yeah. It's not just spindles, it's everything. You should try all different kinds of turning. It's not necessarily, I mean, you might not like it after you do it, but it's worth trying different.
Okay. Okay, Murray, I forgot about you there. You did give a couple tips, but you sent me a couple. Oh, okay. To go ahead and talk about that cracks. If you have a crack on the edge of a blank, mark a new center, save wood.
Yeah, a couple of things. And this turned out to be a duh for me. You know, if you got a blank like this, and it's got a 2-inch crack on the edge, what do? I just turn it out, right? Nah. What you need to do is set a new, when you see a 2-inch crack, set a new, well, if I turn it out, and it's a 2-inch crack, I'm going to lose 4 inches. So that makes a 9-inch hole. If I see that before I turn and I go, oh, I need a new center. So what I do is I just lay one of my blanks over the top, mark a new center, and then take the bandsaw and cut that off, and I now have an 11-inch rather than a 9-inch hole. Duh!
No,
I mean, forever.
that is a good one.
I've just been turning
Yeah. Man, and that's exactly like you sent it to me here. Yeah, you did a good job. Man, it says see picture, but okay.
There was pictures.
Yeah. That's right. And then go ahead and say about the slipstones. Why don't you?
I'm one of the guys that hones gouges between times, and particularly if you get that edge off after you've sharpened them, I do the inside of the gouge, particularly if I'm doing towards the end of things. So I use a slipstone. Well, a slipstone has to be kept clean, and you put oil on it and that sort of stuff. And I was reading about Bob Stockdale, who's a famous turner, very famous. Anyways, he kept his slipstones in a container of mineral spirits. So that's what I do. I just keep mine in mineral spirits, take it out. I don't have to mess with the oil. It keeps them clean. Put it in my pocket, and then off it goes.
Great. Great.
Not everybody does that.
Yeah. And
I got a couple of other things. One is I had a hard time with my grinder keeping the wheels from wobbling. I've tried everything to make them balance and all that sort of stuff. And when I was looking at Craft Supplies not too long ago, I noticed that they had a bushing for the 3X Norton grinding wheels, the blue ones. That hole is bigger than my spindle on my grinder, but you fill it with plastic bushings. Well, the problem is those bushings compress, and so it makes the thing wobble. So I bought one of those for my my 3X thing. Perfect. It doesn't wobble. I don't have to worry about it getting out of round. But I mean, it would get out of, not only wobble, but it would get out of.
are you saying the plastic ones that come with it get?
Get out of round.
So what do you buy?
Craft Supplies
A metal one.
Oh,
has
crap.
an
Ah.
aluminum one. It has a
Oh.
flange on one end that goes up against the thing, and it fits that 3X. Now, you could make one of those, I'm sure, if you wanted to. The other thing is, in the effort to get the wobble out, I would crank down on those nuts, and there's the cup washers that are on the edge of that. They deform. So if you put enough pressure on that, they're going to deform. So that was what the other thing was giving me wobbles this way. So for the first time in about 10 years, I've got a wheel that
Boy,
turns.
I could have used that a while ago.
So anyways, that's they only have it for the 3X Norton, which has a big hole. But if you have a smaller one, you can do that. And I did buy the CBN.
Yeah.
The other one.
I was just going to say that. Buy the CBN, you don't have to worry about that.
Well,
Is that beautiful?
I still keep the 80 because that's what I use. The
No.
Norton because that's what I use for rough stuff.
Mm.
Bob gave me a hint. No. Larry gave me a hint that you put a magnet under that CBN, and it grabs all the filings because it does. It puts out a lot
He
of.
told me that too, and believe me, that makes a big.
Oh, I haven't done that one. You just put a magnet on it or something.
Down the bottom.
Buy a big harbor freight.
Uh-huh.
Those 4
And you just lay it.
I buy half a dozen.
Oh, but before you put it on there, you put it in
Put it on there. I just lay it on there.
No. Before you put it on there, you take it and put it in a sandwich bag. And you turn the sandwich bag inside out. When it gets all covered with filings, you pull the magnet out and refold it the other way, and then you can throw it away and you're done. And you don't have anything to pick up.
Well, that's good, yeah.
Yeah, I just have a bar magnet under mine. And I just put it right up.
But if you put it in a plastic bag,
Yeah.
it's, poof, it's all. Then the stuff's all in the bag.
Well, man, I'm learning.
Throw it away.
I'm learning stuff tonight. All right.
While we're talking about the CBN wheels, one of the manufacturers is in North Carolina, I believe. He has given clubs a big discount if there's an order of 5 or more sets. So if anybody's really interested, Joe and I just bought some. But if anybody wants to put a group order together, let me know, and I will.
John Stewart does that for the York Club.
Yeah, he does.
So I bought one. Most of them, there's the face that you normally
It goes all the
use,
way around.
and then it's got the curved edges. But they have some that beyond the curved edges, it goes back another inch.
Well, that's what I bought. It really
And that's what I bought, because then you can sharpen like your skews. I don't like to have a concave thing on my skew. Because
But
that
they
gives,
really are amazing. Larry's had them for a couple years, I know. They sharpen tools
yeah,
so much quicker and so much nicer. But they are pricey.
The other tip I have is we've talked about Joann fabrics and also reverse turning. When I reverse turn something, I put a piece of foam over the chuck or the jam chuck, which it is, and I bought a big piece of foam from Joann Fabrics, about a half an inch thick, an inch thick, for I don't know, $4 or $5, and it's lasted me 10 years. But that's what I just keep slamming against there, putting my bowl over the top of it, piece of foam.
Yeah.
But you get that at Joann Fabrics or someplace like that.
Well, one more, Murray.
Oh,
Glued.
if you ever find, when you go to a flea market, you'll find the old folding rulers. I mean, that's what I actually use to measure stuff. But often you'll find a broken one or an old one you can't read. I take that brass insert out and glue it to the lathe. When I turn spindles, I use that to measure my calipers, and it's right there every time. I don't have to get out a ruler or anything like that. I just put it up there and go, oh yeah, this is the one for that. So I just epoxy that little brass thing to the headstock. I'm done.
That's it.
Well, maybe.
I guess we have time for one more. No, Bob has two. That's
You
right.
kind of touched on it. When you guys are sanding and you're doing black walnut or maple or cherry, whatever it is, if you collect that sand, that dust, in a Ziploc bag, and you got places in your bowls that get, checks or cracks, just mix that with either epoxy or the CA glue, and it really works well. Sometimes you can't even see where you put it. So and I have bags of every wood I turn now, so it really works out. The other thing is, when I was in Florida last year at the symposium down there, I don't know if I told you, they had a gentleman who was turning vases out of green wood, and some of them were cracking on him. After they crack, he just takes and puts them in a 5-gallon bucket of water overnight. When they go back together, he CA glues it, and he's never had another one crack on him after that crack.
He just puts it in water.
Pure water for 24 hours, and it goes back together. And he had some with significant cracks. He did on a Friday. When we left on Sunday, they were back together and glued up.
So
I never believed it, right?
you saying then he takes them out of water and
Leaves them sit,
then he glues them?
glues them right when he takes them out of the water. They're already together. They are actually back together. I mean,
Yeah.
gaps like that.
Yeah.
That glue them back together.
Well, that's neat. Things you learn. I have one more. Did anybody else have a tip? Except Fred. Does that? Go ahead, Fred.
I have enjoyed myself immensely tonight. You guys are a
Okay.
great group.
Yeah, you're not done yet. You're the last tip.
I was going to say two things. That I've been turning for about 20 years, and one of my tips would be always listen to somebody when they're talking. Don't judge them on their experience, because I've learned some great stuff from people that turn with a little pin-shaped mini lathe, and I've learned from people that use it in American Beauty.
Yeah, you do. You do. You learn. Yeah.
And I do this, and maybe some of you do, I hope you do. Try to mentor somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right now doing a mentor every Thursday with a guy that called me out of the blue, saw me at a craft show, said, I'd really like to learn how to do that, what you do. And I said, well, stop up to the shop. He got out of his car, he was wearing a Glock, he had a bag, so I thought it'd be real nice.
Yeah, it's best to be.
Come to find out he's a detective down in Montgomery County. Every Thursday for the last 6 months, he's come to the shop.
Yeah.
I think I've learned more by mentoring somebody because I
Yeah.
have to stop and think what I'm teaching him. You know, you and I, you guys, we walk up to a lathe, we'll take a gouge, whatever, and whoop, you know?
Yeah.
He was there the first day, and he says, I can't get shavings like yours. And I said, well, you gotta take it out of reverse. Okay? But every day, I check the switch now.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got to say.
There you go.
Along that line, I would also like to say, I've done that and I've been turning for as long as Fred. And I've had people who maybe just started turning. I had a guy from Home Depot. I asked him to come to the meeting months ago, and he said no, and I said come to the shop. And I started to show him something, and he said, why are you doing it that way? Why did you ever think of, or why don't you do it this way? And I thought, I've been doing it for 20 years that way. I don't know. And I did what he said, and I looked at him and I said, I'm so glad you came. That was because you get used to doing something, and somebody else like that. It was a silly little thing, but it made sense.
Yeah.
Why not do it that way?
That brought up a situation. I know a lot. I'm a right-hander, so I like to turn right-handed. So I was using a screw making those pins, and I was going, but then I had to go this way, so I'd change my right hand and my elbows here, and every time it would shut off the machine, right? Because I have one of those, small lathe, and I thought, duh, why don't you learn to do it left-hand? So that's what I was doing, and sometimes you just have to turn left-hand. It's good for your brain too, in my understanding.
Fred's got the opposite problem.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody thinks I'm fast after.
Fred, could you come up here, please? Come up here for one. I want you to give one tip, okay? Okay, just one. Then you're out of here.
Do I know what it is?
You better. What it's your tip? Now this is a great one for us guys. That we were down at Fred's shop. There was 10 of us here, and 10 of I'll say you guys. Yeah. We tried to compete, but anyway, and we had a great time down here. You learn a lot. So and I didn't know you were coming along, and I couldn't do you justice at all. And that is cutting those segment pieces. We all like that. That was great.
That's a trick.
That's a trick. Come on,
All right.
come on over here, sir. Really appreciate it.
Anybody doing segmented turning? There we go, couple.
I just did my first one, brought it in here.
Yeah, I'm just finishing up a piece. It's 380 pieces. It's a base. It's about this high. So, but it's in the final stages. But you got to cut a lot of pieces, and I use a table saw to cut my pieces. A lot of people use chop saws. That's good. I've seen people cut their segments on band saws. That's good. I just get a better cut on the table saw, and plus I had made a bunch of sleds or jigs, but set for dead accurate 10 degrees, 15 degrees, 18 degrees, 22.5 degrees, and I take the sled down. If I want to do an 8-sided segment, I take the 22.5 down, and it's every time it's 22.5. And when you put 8 pieces together, no gap at the end. And there's a lot of things, some people say glue 6 pieces together, and then glue 6 pieces together. If you're doing a 12th sandwich, sand it, and then glue your thing 2 halves together. I just put them all in a circle, put a hose clamp around it, set it aside.
And he did that down there. That worked great.
Yeah, and I don't ever have any gaps, but I've been doing it a long time. But, so I'm doing now a lot of 18 segments, okay? And I'm doing these bowls with 200, 300 segments, and it was getting to be a pain in the butt cutting them all. And the problem I was having, I was putting them through, pushing through on the sled, it was falling off between the blade and my guide to show me my depth. And they were stacking up. And then all of a sudden, they get stacked up enough, the one would fall, hit the blade, which is, of course, spinning towards me. And then all of a sudden, I got another goddamn red mark on my forehead. So, I said, okay, we think of this. So, I thought maybe if I got a dust broom, one of the little handy brooms, I'd cut like 5 segments and then broom, and then cut 5 and broom. Well, sat in my easy chair for half a day thinking about this, and it was the solution was very simple. I have this piece of wood here that I'm using. You don't ever want to cut on your fence because they will jam up every damn time. So you put your 1-inch piece of wood here, you set your steps. Once it gets past it, it cuts and it falls up. So I drilled a hole through there, took a piece of plastic pipe that you use for your faucet, got it at Home Depot, 98 cents, stuck that thing down that piece of wood on an angle facing that way, hooked it up to the hose on my air compressor with a little valve, and I turned it on and I cut a piece and that dang thing went boing, slipped off the end of my table saw. Alright, there's the first piece, so, you know. So then I had to go around to the back and pick them all up off the floor. So, I put a divider on the back where my outspeed fence is. I put a little bucket down here, one of these, just like this, and it sits right down in here. And now the piece, I cut it, it goes boing, hits that, and drops down into the bucket.
You guys haven't seen, it was kind of like against the fence, hole coming through here and here. Then he put a hose right down through there, and you adjust it by
The size of your, you need a little bit more.
and it just blows that right off the table. And
So now, you know, 18 accurate segments in about 15 seconds, where it used to take me about 4 minutes. But like I said, you're doing a whole bunch of segments. So that's something, you know, and I hope you guys all, if you get into it, you know, actually the guys in my club want me to get a video, and we're going to put it on our website, our club website, and how it works, and pieces flying off and stuff like that. As soon as it gets out, I'll let you guys know, and you can pull it off of our site. But thank you.
thanks, Fred.
I
Appreciate
like
that.
to do things easy.
Well, that's all I have, guys. Thank you.
That's good.
I'd like to see you.